I'd like to welcome all of you for the third lecture, and before I start with the lecture, I'd like to thank the authorities of SVP College Bhabua for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this faculty development program. I'd also like to specially thank Dr. R.K. Gupta, because of whom actually got this opportunity to be a part of this. Okay, so in the last class we did talk about making a Gmail account, and then after that we look into few aspects of Google Classes. And if you remember, I actually have created a Google Classroom. Okay, so now what I'm going to do today is I'm going to tell you some more benefits of using Google Classroom, where you can actually conduct online quizzes and tests, and some of the finer aspects. Okay, so before that, let's just look into another Google product of the Google family, and that's the Google Drive. Okay, so basically you have Google Drive here, and the same way you need to just log in to drive.google.com. You just need to go to drive.google.com, and then once you log in, this is the interface you basically see. Now if you remember in the last class, when I actually updated a material, okay, this was the material, right? So this was the lecture that I have updated, and this is the material I have updated, a book. Okay, this solar panel working. So this same material is actually uploaded, and then uh, the classroom needs some space to be used on the internet, right? That space is actually provided in the Google Drive itself. So a Google Drive will actually have a space of around 15 GB, and since I have uploaded this, and this is under the classroom, so basically auto creation of a folder is done, which is nothing but named as classroom. So this is all auto created. I have not yet created anything till now. Okay, now let's think about it. Let's suppose I want to create a quiz for my student. So what I can do is I can go to the Google Classroom, and then I can go to classwork, and then I can go for create. Now this quiz might be meant for an examination purpose or an online test and so on. So what I do is after I go for create, I can actually go for an quiz assignment, or I can just go for an assignment. So if I go for an assignment, maybe I can make a PDF, okay, and then give them some kind of assignment in writing to be completed, and then that PDF can be uploaded by using the add option here. So I can have it in my computer. I can just go for file, okay, and then I can just upload it. Okay, I can either select the file from my device, so that's very simple. Okay, so I can just go for any of the documents. Okay, I do have a lot of documents here, so basically might be I can just talk about this. Let's say this document I want to upload, I can just open it here. Okay, and then I can just click upload, and once I upload this, okay, this is actually a book, so basically it's a bit long, so I can give this as an assignment, like read the book and try to make a presentation out of it, maybe that way. Okay, so this can be done. Okay, and then once this assignment is uploaded, this is uploaded now, what I can do, I can just give a title. Let's say I'll just type assignment 1. Okay, and then once assignment is typed, I can just upload it. Okay, so once I just go for assign, what happens is immediately this is assigned. Okay, that means it's available on the Google Classroom at the moment I press assign, but there is some other fewer options there. Okay, we need to check that also. Before that, what we can do is, let's say I want to grade this assignment, so let's say I have given 20 marks for the assignment. Okay, so I'll just put the points as 20, and then what happens is I can give it to all the students or few specific students, so I'll just keep it with all students, and then a due date. Now suppose I want that the assignment should be submitted, so let's take the let's I'll say I want to submit it within 20th May. Okay, I want my student to submit it by 20th May, and let me just give a time here. Let's say the student should submit it before 4:59 p.m. Okay, so evening time, so that's fine. Okay, so this is the time by which the assignment should be submitted. If you want to give a specific detail on the topic, you can create a topic and give that, but let's leave that aside. Okay, and then you can go for assign, and the student will immediately see the assignment. What else you can do is, you can go here and then schedule the assignment. Okay, suppose you have already prepared a quiz, and you want to schedule it for half an hour. Okay, so what you can do is you can go for schedule assignment, and then since they want to submit it by May 28th 4:59 p.m. and you just want to give them, let's say, a 1 day time, right? Or might be 6 hours time or something like that. Okay, so let's say the assignment will go online on 20th May, and let's say let's keep it at 8 a.m. or let's make it 9 a.m. Okay, so in the morning 9 a.m. the assignment goes on. So as soon as I press schedule, what happens is the assignment is scheduled now. So it is great. So this is something which you can see or your associate teachers can see, but the student can't see this. So what will happen is, as soon as it's May 28th 9 a.m., this assignment will go online and it will appear here. Okay, and the student can see. So that means you have done your work. Okay, and you don't need to really think about the time and all. You can just decide and put it on schedule. Okay, this is a very important task. Next, let's try to create a quiz now. So if I basically go for a quiz assignment, what happens is Google itself creates a blank quiz here. Okay, and then what happens, you can just double click on this, and as soon as you double click on this, you basically have a blank quiz. Okay, so now I'm going to give you a detail on how to create this blank quiz. But there is another way to create a quiz. What you can do is you can go to Google Drive, and if you actually let's just refresh this once. Okay, so if we just refresh this once, so you will see that there are some additional files which has been added. Okay, so because we have already uploaded an assignment, so that assignment is also there in the Google Drive. Okay, some space has been taken by this. Okay, and all of this is under the classroom folder. So if you go under classroom, okay, these are your recent files, and if you go under the classroom, okay, you can see this classroom, particular classroom, MSc third sem, and then these are the uploads. So you have this solar panel which I have uploaded in the previous lecture. This is an assignment which I have uploaded just now, and this is basically the blank quiz that we are talking about. Okay, so this blank quiz is created via Google Classroom. There is another way to create a blank quiz. What you can do is you can come here. Okay, let me create another quiz here. What you can do is you can go for new. Okay, and then you go here for more. Okay, and then go Google Forms. So once you go for Google Forms, you can just click here, and then you can create a blank form here. Okay, and then you can create in a shared folder. Okay, or you can just cancel it out. Okay, so I don't want to create it in a shared folder. I don't want to share it with my students right now. I just want to keep it in my Google Drive. So what you can do, you can come to the root directly to my drive, and then go for new. Okay, and then go for more, then Google Forms, and then go form blank form. Okay, so once you do this creation of a blank form, this is one more blank form which is being created. Okay, so this is the form which is created within Google Drive. It is not still there on Google Classroom, but the other form that I've taken is already in the Google Classroom. So here what I can do is I can just mm, keep this here. Okay, and then just write down this as, let's say, quiz 2. So I want to keep this as quiz 2. Okay, and then let's say quiz 2. Okay, and then as soon as I write quiz 2 and click here, this is named as quiz 2. Okay, and these changes are saved. So you can see this, all changes are saved in Drive. Okay, so what I do is, if I close this now, this is actually already saved here. So you can see quiz 2 is here. Okay, and the blank quiz which I have created via Google Classroom is inside this. Okay, so now let's see how to actually create. So these are the two ways of creating the quiz. Okay, so I have created this blank quiz inside Google Classroom, and let's just mark this. Okay, and let's just type this as quiz 1. Let's this be quiz 1, which I want to give the students immediately. Okay, so what I do is I put quiz 1, and then what I can do is I want to give some marks for this. So the first step would be, please follow this very carefully because this is important. Okay, it's a kind of advanced. Okay, these are some advanced topics that we are dealing with right now. As soon as I go for settings, you can go for quizzes. Okay, and then I click make a quiz. Okay, make this a quiz. So what I do, make this a quiz. It was already selected because in the Google Classroom I said that this should be a quiz, okay? And you need to look into each of these points very carefully, because if a slight mistake is done, maybe later on you will be actually facing some kind of difficulty, okay? So what happens is release grade immediately after each submission. Well, this is not advisable right now. It's better to have this option selected later after manual review. So what you do is you look into the answers. Might be there are some objective questions which you have put up, and that's not a multiple choice question. You still want to check the answer, then you want to release the grade. So you just keep this point active. These three are okay. Respondents can see missed questions. So what happens is the respondent or the your students can be sent a copy of their answers, and they can see the missed question. They can look into the correct answer, and they can also look into the point values. That means how much mark you have given for each question. Okay, and then you can go for this option, presentation. So there is a progress bar which the students can see. You can click on this, doesn't matter. Okay, and shuffle question order. So what happens is, suppose you are giving 10 multiple choice question, and if you do shuffle order, then each of these students will look into the question from a different order in which they are arranged. Okay, the questions will be distributed randomly. Now if you do it manually in a classroom session, you have to prepare a separate question paper for that, but Google does that on their own. Okay, so it's a very helpful idea here. Okay, and then show link to submit another response. Now this let's not select, because I want the student to submit only one response. Okay, and then you can actually give some kind of information here that thank you, your response has been recorded or something like that. Okay, you can just put that. Okay, and then you can save it here. But let's just finish this. Finally go to the general tab, and then collect email address. Now this is actually important because you want to track the student who have answered your question. You don't want each and everyone to come and answer the question whom you don't even know, right? So you just want your class students. So what do you do? Collect email addresses, and then response receipts. So what happens is, do you want the student to receive the response that he or she has given? If he requests it, then or always. So I'll keep it as always, because as soon as they give the answer, they will receive the answer. It is always a good idea that the student knows what they have written. And then I want to limit this to one response. So limit this to one response. Now for this there is a special provision here, that the respondents, that means your students, must actually have a Google account. Okay, and they must log in with their Google account. Then only it will be limited to one response. So if your student is using an Yahoo account or some other account, it's better not to check in this. Okay, but for additional safety, so that a student doesn't give multiple answers to a single question set, you have 100 students, 100 students in your class, and everyone is attempting 2 or 3 times, then obviously it will be a big headache, right? You cannot really filter that out. So it's always better to keep this active, limit to one response. Okay, and then respondents can edit after submit. No, we don't want that, right? It's very difficult. The students have answered, that's done, right? Students should not have any more control with that. So this control is there. And then see summary chart and text responses. Well, this you can activate. It doesn't harm much. Okay, and these are some very important settings. So whenever you are setting up a question on quiz, okay, or quizzes, please make sure you are selecting these. Okay, and then you please save. So as soon as you press save, you see that the email address option has been activated, and then it's written valid email address. Okay, and this a star sign is there. That means this is mandatory. They must give the email address. Okay, that's very important. That's their identity for now. And then I can actually give a form description. So that means I can give you the rules and regulation. All questions are mandatory and so on. Okay, so all questions are mandatory. Okay, and we can type that. Okay, and then and so on, then different condition depending on how what kind of question paper you are setting up. Okay, so these things are fine. And then what happens if I go for this untitled question. Okay, so let me just set up some questions. Okay, let's say I want to do something like something on GK. Okay, so if I do that something on GK, I can let's say what is capital of, okay, let me just do it in a very simple thing, of India. Okay, or let's say Australia. Okay, So I can have a multiple choice question. I can have a multiple choice question, and you see some of these questions if you put and this is like more or less general question. The Google form already suggests you an answer, so you already know it's a Canberra. Okay, so it's Canberra. Okay, so let's say the one option you are putting Canberra, one option you are putting is let's say Perth. Okay, okay, and let's put something else. Okay, let's say none of the above. Okay, none of the above. Okay, and so on. So you can put three options, four options, and so on. Okay, and then what happens is this is a multiple choice question, and you want to put some marks to it. Okay, let's say I want to have an answer key, and I know that this Canberra is correct, so I'll put this, and then I'll put the points here. So let this is for 1 mark. So this is done. Now please remember this tick is the one which you can see. Your students can't see it. Okay. After the exam, when you release the answer, the student can see which is the correct answer. So you've already put in the correct answer, so that Google can do the marking on its own. Okay. So this is a very simple thing. Now you can put another option that is it required, it's mandatory or not. So if it's not mandatory, the student can skip. If you put it as required, the student cannot skip this, they have to answer this before they can submit. Okay, and then definitely you can actually delete. Okay, and so on. You can actually do one more thing, or let me give you one more example of a question here. Okay, but let's say, okay, let me add you one more information here. Suppose I want to collect the student's name also. So what I can do is, if I click on email address, okay, and if I put a add question here, after immediately after the email address, I have this position of add question. So let me just write down one more point here, name. Okay, and let me just keep this as short answer. Okay, and then this is the short answer. I don't want to go any markings for this, but I will keep it mandatory. The student have to answer this. Okay, so that you are collecting the name also, because sometimes they do put in an email address which might not be relevant to their name. Okay, then I want to put a roll number option, so I can put a roll number. Okay, roll number. Okay, and then I can actually have a short answer for this. Now here you can have a validation. For example, your roll number is only from plus roll number 1 to 10. Then you can do this. Okay, but most of the times we don't really need to think about this much. Okay, students will try to put their correct roll number most of the times. So this also is required, so I can put this. Okay, and then what happens if I press again this plus, a question, blank question will be added immediately after roll number. I don't want it. I want the blank question should be added immediately after what is the capital of Australia question. Okay, I'll remove this required mark from here, and then I'll put a okay. So let's put one more question here, and let's this time let's have a objective question. Okay, let's have an objective question. So let's write down what is the full form of COVID. Let's say. Okay, let's say this is an objective question, and I don't want to put a multiple choice question for this. I'll just click here and write down short answer. So once I put a short answer, okay, uh, I have a short answer here, and then I can put a required option or not required option. That's fine. Okay, and I want to suppose I want to put some instruction for this particular question, so I can just go here and I can put description, and then I can write down the instruction. Okay, so let's say I'll write down just write the full for notification direct. Suppose I want to put this instruction. Okay, and suppose I want to give the marks, so let's say I'll give 1 mark for this. Okay, and then you can add a correct answer, but it's better not to put it that way, because sometimes different students will answer it in a different way, and every answer might be correct, so you cannot have a lot of options there. So let's not put that there. Okay, that's not a very good practice. Okay, so let's put it there. Okay, so this is one more way of setting up the question. And another way might be, let's say I want to actually have a descriptive question, then I can, in place of short answer, I'll just put a paragraph. Okay, now you might have a question where there are multiple answers. Okay, so let's say I put a question, which of the following cities is considered metropolitan metropolitan in India. Okay, so let's put down some options there. Okay, let's write down let's say Mumbai. Okay, and let's put down Shillong, that's my hometown. That's the capital of Meghalaya in Northeast. Okay, and then let's put down Delhi. Okay, and then let's put down Kolkata. So we know that 3 of the answers are correct, right? Mumbai, Delhi and Kolkata. But if a student goes for this multiple choice option, if it's selected as multiple choice, they would be able to answer only one of them. Okay, only one of them is correct. But then if I put check boxes, what happens is there can be multiple answers to this. Okay, so then this is done. Then what I do, I go for answer key, and let's say I want to give 2 marks for this. I'll give 2 marks for this. Okay, and then I will select the correct answers and keep it ready so that Google can evaluate it later after the student submits the answer. Okay, so Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata is the correct answer. I'll just put as done. Okay, I can put it as required or not required, that's fine. Okay, so this way you can actually do a lot of questions here, and there are a lot of options here. You can just go for paragraph answer, multiple choice, small answers. You can put a drop down box, you can put a file upload, that means you can put an image and ask the student a question based on that image. Okay, and then so on. Okay, so these things you can always test, and these are all advanced options here. And then you can see finally you have actually set up a question which is 4 marks. Okay, which consists of 4 marks, and then this is done. Okay, this is done. And then what you can do is you can go here. Okay, and then might be you can just refresh this. Okay, because we have, okay, there's still blank page, so just put this as quiz 1. So we'll put this as quiz 1. Okay, and once we put this as quiz 1, okay, and then we refresh this here, this should actually display as quiz 1. Okay, I have not yet put it here. Okay, this actually I have not saved it. Okay, I'll just go for quiz assignment. Okay, and then let's not take this blank form, we will just take this quiz 1. Okay, so I won't send it anywhere and just upload it here. Okay, so what I can do is I can go for classwork, I can go for add, I can go for my Google Drive. Okay, I'm already logged into my Google, so I will be able to see all my files here. Okay, and then this is my quiz 1. Okay, so this is quiz 1, I'll just add it here. So once I add quiz 1, this is already added, quiz 1. Okay, and then I can write down my instructions if I want, and then I can assign them. So if I do the assignment right now, they will get the assignment. If I schedule it, it is scheduled. Okay, so how much points do have I made it here? It's only 4 points. I'll just put 4 points, depends on you, and then I can put the due date and so on, and then I can go for assign. Okay, so once I do the assign part, what happens is it gets assigned and the students can see the quiz immediately. So see, this is not grayed out. Okay, so I'll go for stream, and I can see that the students can see the quiz. So they have it here. Okay, as a student they can see this, and they can open this and start writing their answers. Okay, but then I'll give you one more idea here. This is also very important. Now you want the student should finish it within 10 minutes, let's say, or 15 minutes. How do we set that? Okay, this is also a very important part of setting up quiz. So what I do is I'll go back to this quiz 1. Okay, I'll go back to this quiz 1 file. Okay, and then I will go here. Here should get something which is called add-on. So what I'll do is I'll go for setting. Okay, and then sorry, not setting, I'll go for these 3 dots. Okay, you can see more here, and then I'll scroll down and I'll check that there is an option called add-ons. So I'll just click on add-ons. Once I click on add-ons, you will be actually seeing a number of Google softwares. Okay, which are basically nothing but add-ons to actually uh, uh, make your quiz even more dynamic. So I'll go for something which is called form limiter. So once this opens, I will get this form limiter. Okay, so there is an option which is called form limiter. So I can click on form limiter and form limiter shows up. Okay, and then I can go for this which says forms to improve your productivity. This is the information that we have, so we can click on this. Okay, and then I will add this add-on. So I'll just go for install. So once I go for install, this form limiter gets added. Okay, and then you will see that there is an additional icon that appears. Okay, so I'll just go for continue with the permissions. So I'll go for continue and give all the permissions. Okay, once all done, I should have it up and running. Okay, so basically I need to just go for this. So I'll just select my account. Okay, because I want to approve this add-on for this account. So these things are all safe, so don't worry about it. Okay, it's all safe because these are all products which are being used in Google. Okay, so it's getting ready for installation. Okay, And then by the time it gets installed, let me just tell you some more things here. So this is basically your Google Drive, which I already told you. Anytime you can delete your files. Okay, so this quiz 2 that I've created, I can also delete it. I can go for this quiz 2, and then I have got the delete option. Okay, and then I can also make a copy of this. Okay, I can go for delete option, and then I'll just delete it. So once you delete it, you should expect that your storage should get empty, but that's not true. You have to empty your trash. Okay, it's just like the recycle bin which we used in our desktop. So you can just go for quiz 2 again, and then you delete, and then that much spaces and go free in your Google Drive. Okay, in your Google Drive. So this is what is storage in cloud is all about. Okay. Okay, so this form limiter is installed now, so, and it's done. Okay, so once it's done, I'll just go for continue. Okay, uh, it's already installed, so I clicked it twice, so I don't need to click this again. Okay, so I close this, I close this. Okay, by the time this happens, it's taking a bit of time, but by the time this happens, let me just tell you this again. Okay, so this is there. Now you want to create a file in your Google Drive, that also can be, you can just do the normal left click, and then you can go for new folder. Okay, and then you can just type in some name for the folder, and then write down my files, and then do the create. So basically this will create a folder just like you do in your desktop, where you can keep your different files there. Okay, okay, so this is done. Okay, so this is done. We'll just go for closing this, and we'll close this, cancel this, and close this again. Okay, so once this is done, you see that after I have installed the add-on, this an additional icon has popped in, and that's called add-on. Okay, so this add-on we are using in this quiz. What we are going to do is we are going to click on add-on, we are going to click on form limiter, we are going to click set limit, and then I can do two kinds of limitation. The first limitation might be date and time. So I want my student to submit the assignment in 15 minutes within a on a specific day. So let's say on 18th, I want them to submit by 2 p.m. Okay, let's say it's 2 p.m. Okay, just select your time very carefully, otherwise there will be a lot of issues. Okay, so and then we can just go for save and enable. So what this particular add-on does is after 2 p.m. the students cannot submit, because there will be a submit button, and once they click it, they will say, the option will say that this form is no longer accepting responses and has been set to automatically close by sandeeppch 2020 at gmail.com. We have closed it. Okay, so this is one kind of restriction that you can put using a form limiter. The second is number of form responses. So suppose the number of students in your class is 10, so you are expecting a response not more than 10, so you can just put as 10 as an additional number. But this is just a safety precaution. Even if you don't put it, it's fine, because you have enabled email address and they can only answer once, so you can already recognize from your email how many students have responded. But still, on a safety basis, you can just put it as 10. Suppose there are 10 students, and write save and enable. Once this is done, you can just close this, and then you can distribute it to your student, and they can actually write down the answers. Now please remember, there are two ways of doing this also. Let me just delete this from here. Okay, I'll just remove this quiz. Okay, so before removing, might be we can just check once. Okay, so if you go for this, and if you go for this Google form, what you see is this. Now this is something which the students would see. Okay, and then you can see once they do the answer, they will put an email ID here. Okay, let me put my email ID, let's say. Okay, this, and then let's say I'll just I don't know this answer. Okay, in fact I don't remember. That's a fact. Anyway, so I'll put my roll number here, let's say 12, and let's say I click something here, Delhi, Shillong. These are some wrong answers also there. Okay, and then this is capital. Let me put the right down and right answer here. You see, I have seen this randomly. Okay, I put that random option initially, if you remember, at the setting. And now if you look through all the questions are jumbled up. It's not in the same sequence in which I have made, because I'm the student right now. I'm looking at this from this point of view. And then what I can do, I can put my name. Okay, I can put my name, and then I can go for submit. Once I submit this, okay, this might happen because sometimes there are some security issues, but anyway, let's do it. Okay, I think these kind of verification we have done before. Okay, but anyway, let's do the verification here, and then done. So this is submitted. I have put a thank you there. So this is what is there. Okay, it's already there. So it's thank you. Now I should be receiving the responses. Let's go back to this form. Okay, If you go back to form now and then just refresh it once, okay, let's just refresh it once. If we just refresh it once, I should be receiving one response, okay. So if you go for responses now, okay, if I go for responses now, see one response I have already received, okay, and this is already there. And then there is one more option here which is called accepting response. So if you want to keep accepting the response, you can keep it on or you can keep it off, okay. And then I can check so which of the following cities is metropolitan in India, they have given a correct response or not. I can go here, I can go for individual markings, okay, and then I can go for this email ID and then check all these answers. So this is his email ID, this is his name, this is the roll number, and the table was table. So this is the correct answer. Google has also taken the correct, it has already done the auto marking as well. But what is the full form of COVID? They have not written anything and the mark is also not given. So what I can do is I can just put a 0 there. So it is graded now. Then which of the following cities is considered metropolitan in India? Since they have selected the wrong answer, the mark is 0. But since the student have selected one correct answer, and if you are lenient enough, if you are a very student friendly teacher, you can definitely give 1 mark for that. So 1 mark none. Okay. And then on the solve, you can just save it. Okay, if you save it, you can see how much mark your student has scored. You can go for summary and you see your student has scored 2 out of 4. So that's the mark. If you want to release the score, you can click release. You can put some message there. You can send an email. The student will receive his mark along with the answers. Okay, so that's very simple, but I have given you some advanced ideas also. If you are finding it difficult, I would advise you to pause the video, take it a bit slow. Okay, it's been a bit long video, but this is very important for generating question papers online using Google Classroom. I hope it helps for conduct of better online classes through quizzes. And so that's all for today. Thank you.